Hello everyone, this is a video about Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, and this is because I've had many people request this reading, so I figured I'd just go ahead and do it today. So when I tuned into Justin Trudeau, if I'm saying that, I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but regardless, when I tune into him, I get that he has very serious energy, and it's as if he's waiting for something. Like he's waiting for the green light from other people, and this is like a big picture sort of situation where there's powers that be, and there's like a big network, and it's like he's on hold and he's just kind of waiting for things to work out somewhere else and kind of trickle down to him to the point where he's able to take action. And this is regarding his influence over Canada in particular. So he is taking orders on some level from people higher up from him, like I was saying, and this could be something like the World Economic Forum. I do get the sense that he is connected with that and that there is some influence over him from that. But it seems to be not just that, but just many of the people involved in the World Economic Forum are also working together, whether that be the World Economic Forum or something outside of it, more broad than that. Either way, I hear him saying, "Yes, Master." And so he is definitely taking orders. I get that he's very stressed out about this. He's somewhat of like a pawn in this game. He's not really that high up in it. But the stakes are really high, is what I get. And this stresses him out. There's a lot of pressure from above, and it seems to be taking a toll on his mental health. He does seem to be very honed into these masters, if you want to call it that, or people, powerful people in the world, who you could call them the elite of the world. And so he's so focused on these people and the information regarding them and coming from them that he's not really so much interested in the public opinion of the Canadian people themselves. Although I do get that on some level he's being told to appeal in a certain way to the Canadian people, but he's not doing it because of his interest in the Canadian people's opinion. He's doing it because of the opinion of the people who are telling him to do that. So there are bigger plans at play. He's not really, it's as if what's going on in Canada is just like a small piece of the puzzle, and so there's bigger things. So he's not really focused so much on like the public opinion of Canada, I guess you could say. He is a big player in the game currently, and it's like he's waiting for things to happen in a certain manner where it's like his turn to take action. And so that's a current thing right now, but I get that in about 3 years or so he won't be as useful in this manner, and he will be less in the spotlight. So when I tune into what this plan is, I get that it's some plan for European powers to synchronize with the US and to kind of create more of a network where they're all working more together. I do get that this is involving big banks, and creating more of a chain of command where everyone's kind of unified under this somewhat corporate control. But I get the idea is that it's bigger and therefore better and safer. And, like like they say, too big to fail about corporations. This is not just about the finance, which it is, but it's also about the safety mechanisms, being able to create more stability around the world, and therefore people not only are more safe and stable, but also there's less threat to these corporations being overthrown by something else. So, more centralized power and more harmonious in the eyes of the people in charge. At least that's how they see it. However, it would create a somewhat conservative resistance towards the social evolution that's coming, and I've been talking about that a lot, how things are changing, power structures are shifting, and this is a big deal, and they kind of see this coming, and they want to create this stability to, in some sense, resist the change. So, in Justin Trudeau's eyes, his success requires obedience of stronger forces, and so that's why he's kind of, working with these more powerful players. He is a very hard worker. I do get that. And he is rewarded for his work, and that's part of the reason why he has the authority he does. And I get that he's going to keep having this authority for years to come in politics. Although towards the end of his life something happens, or towards maybe 10 years out or something, I see kind of seems to dim and go away as far as the authority in politics. He is in it for the success, but also he sees himself as doing a good thing, creating more stability in the world. He has accepted some aspects of the elite power structure as just part of life, and so he doesn't necessarily see it as a negative. He just sees it as like something that's just necessary for structure to exist. I don't get that he has truly bad intentions. I know a lot of people say he's like evil and whatnot. I don't get that he's, like all that positive, but I don't get that he's all that negative completely either. But he is being played like a flute. So there are some negative, corrupt powers working through him. Due to feeling bad about himself and a low self-esteem, he is easy to manipulate. He is in a lot of emotional conflict. So he just wants to make everything better again, but feels compromised internally. And I hear him saying the world is more complex than meets the eye. He feels there is no choice because it is inevitable that things go in a certain direction. He's very troubled inside. And when I was tuning into that, I saw the Pope come up, the picture of the Pope come up. And when I asked what that was about, there's some authority to the Pope where he is kind of ducking below it and swimming around it and doesn't want to, upset the Pope's authority. And so there's just something about, him being troubled and being kind of easily controlled by others, and that being a wall that kind of blocks him from doing what he would possibly want to do, that may be seen in a more positive light. So in this sense, his public image matters to him internationally, but not so much just within the Canadian realm. So when I tune in, does he have connection with other big powers in the world? I was like, well, that's interesting. What about the Queen of England? He doesn't have any connection with the Queen of England. And when I ask about Biden, he doesn't have a direct connection with Joe Biden, but I do get that he's operating within a similar framework as Joe Biden. So, you know, it's almost like they're co-workers, you could say, but they don't really work. They don't work side by side, but you know, they're doing similar things. I do get that Joe Biden's control goes beyond the World Economic Forum as far as like what's kind of behind him, like the interests that are pushing him, whereas Justin Trudeau is his spectrum of influence is a little less broad and it's more close to just the World Economic Forum. Biden's is more mixed with other factors that have opposing views within factions. And I get that overall Joe Biden has more potential for these positive influences to kind of turn the tides of the negative influences, whereas Trudeau is like kind of more stuck in a box and it's just plain cut. I do get that he is somewhat invested in Ukraine, similar to the United States. But I don't get that there's any connection with him for Russia or India. But strangely enough, there does seem to be some networking with China. Possible agreements, and this could be something he's made in the past, agreements with China, and something that could do with financial deals on the future outlook of China's financial stability and wanting to be in on that. So overall, I don't sense that there is evil in his heart, but I do sense he is someone who is being used by the elite, if you want to call them that, or the powers that be, or the corporate power that runs the earth. So, thank you for watching and have a great day. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it.